Hey guys, welcome back. Part 2 of the build. Today we're going to put the shift servos in, get those hooked up, and find the second battery strap, and then we're going to move on to the body. So we're almost done the build. That's going to be the first few minutes of the video. Then we're going to move on to the body. We have decided we are going to go with the rusty, crusty, beat up, old, cruppy looking, whatever. Is cruppy a word?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The cruppy, beat up, ugly, rusty, dirty body. So we're going to get into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys know we love to do that to the truck. So this guy is almost done. We're going to show you that servo block coming up right now, how we've come up with that idea, how to stack our servos. They're pretty cool. We got a rear shift servo cable here. Our front, we actually used a rear cable because the way it comes out is pretty much right into the motor cover, and then you got to go up and around the mount to keep it clear of the drive shaft, and then to reach there nice. So we have some extra room on the cable, which is nice. And he's going to run just like that. So anyhow, enough of me talking. Let's get this guy together. Okay guys, so we got the little shift block set up for our shift servos. So we had, this one's going to be our rear on the bottom, and this one's going to be our front on the top. This guy's going to sit in there on a couple small 3mm spacers just so this guy can lift up and clear the transmission. We decided to kind of go with the stack instead of doing it inline, because when you do it inline, this guy ends up, you know, becoming about 4 inches long from tip of this ear to tip of this ear. It's pretty far actually. So this is a nice little compact style to do it. We were going to do the servos the other way with the cables up top, but I wanted to keep everything down low, kind of tucked inside. So this guy gets mounted in there with a small spacer on either side, holds them up, and this guy just rides above the transmission. So it worked out perfectly. Let's get that installed. I'm just waiting on a buddy to run over here with some loom, as it is a Saturday morning and we don't feel like driving into the city. But he's going to bring us over some loom and we can get these guys laid in and done. I'll show you guys how to set up your servos on your trim. You're going to want to set those channels on your radio, set the travel to 0, and then as you put the cable in, you want to not hook it up, but just move this back and forth with your switch and keep adding, and then push and pull the cable by hand until you can see that everything is kind of where it needs to be. Then hook it up, and then we'll mount this into the truck. So a couple steps like that just to make sure we don't strip these out. These are very delicate little servos, so we want to make sure we go easy on that. Enough blabbing, let's start putting it in. Okay, so we got our front cable here, guys. We spun our little ball connector on the end. Servo set up. Now our radio, we have this already set for the other one, and we have them all marked out in marker pens. We wanted to make sure everything was set up the same. We went through, made sure the channel was reversed and everything. So, and he's marked front diff, lock, So now his base travel is going to be a little bit too much back and forth. So before you go and snap this in, you just want to kind of put your cable into where it fits, and understand like that's locked. And look at, we're a little bit too far out, and then go to unlocked in, and you'll see again once we shift that, we're a little bit, that's actually not too bad. We might be able to get away with leaving that there, but we're going to need to choke some down on this backside coming out. Just something to show you guys real quick so you don't break these servos. They're a pain in the butt. These are the power HD ones with the metal gear, but the stock Traxxas ones, if you sneeze at them wrong way, you strip the gears in them. So we just wanted to give you guys a quick tip on that. Enough of this. It's pretty much done, you guys. We just want to get this guy cleaned up. We're going to work on getting that body looking mint on this truck, and we're going to try to get this guy out on the trail yet this weekend. It's like 4 o'clock, and we got to order some pizza, so we're already running out of time, but let's get going. Anyway, let's go. Got the battery hanging. Okay, so many hours later, as promised, we're going to do some quick weathering on the body. We're going to use one of the last panel bedsides for the weathering on it. We've already done a bunch on here. We're going to go throw some more flat clear on there and get that done. Anyhow, put your decals on, get it done. You're going to want to mask off your matte black. We can put a little bit of detail on that after, but you don't want to get that, leave the matte black exposed where you're putting everything on, or else you end up with too much on there. It's kind of hard to deal with. So best bet, mask it off. And then what I like to use is a mix of thinner and Vallejo pigments. I'll go heavy with the dark pigment and add a little bit of the sand pigment sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. If we're doing the construction equipment, I'll use just this, but I like to use a mix of both. Dirt isn't just black, isn't brown, it's kind of a mix. So you can also do one layer of this color and then another layer of this one. So first step, after you get all your decals on, you're going to want to hit those flat clear PS55 Tamiya. We've already done that with this piece, and then we can put our first layer of our wash down, and then another layer flat clear, and then another layer wash and flat clear, as many times you want, the more the merrier. This guy's got some rust and stuff on the bottom. We kind of went through, did that on. It looks pretty cool. Once we're happy with that, we'll go through and flat clear that. Another product we use is, to me, a panel line accent paint, or it's more like a ink almost. It's pretty much just a black wash with thinner. We use that around the edges and stuff, kind of darken things up, kind of make runs and drift and stuff. It is pretty dark. You'll have better luck with using the pigment and some thinner. You want to make sure you mix that up good and heavy. So what I like to do is give the entire piece just a quick brushing, so we have a nice uniform kind of dirt everywhere, because dirt gets everywhere, as you guys know. Just give that just a quick coat, and you can kind of roll it around. You'll see the pigment kind of flows with the thinner, so if you can kind of bring it up into this edge here, get a nice spread going across, and then flip that down to give it a nice run like that. That gives it a natural kind of look like that. So we'll let that dry a little bit. It dries pretty quick. It's just thinner on there, right? So, and then we can add in a couple of like heavy pigment spots, you know, like here and stuff. Just extra dirt going on there. So, okay, we'll let that dry, and we'll be back. We'll add a little bit of the accent color onto there, the panel line accent color from Tamiya. So, see you back here in just a couple seconds. Okay, so we got that dried now. That is done. Just grab a paper towel, dry table, whatever. Anyhow, so we're gonna use our black accent color stuff now. You don't want to go too silly with this stuff. It is pretty powerful. So I like to kind of start in areas where dirt would sit, like the tail light, and let it kind of run down there. So kind of in the bottom here, and a little drippy drip run here. Make sure you're holding up and down. Let me do that. Another thing I like to do is all the edges. You don't have to get all the edges. The beauty about this paint job is you kind of can't mess it up. The more you screw it up, probably the better it looks. So, give her. Get out a little bit. Up here. Again, best way to get this stuff to give it a natural thing is kind of build a pool. And then just kind of dump the pool down. Go around the edges here. Darken up a little bit. Okay, let that dry, come back, we're going to add some rust. Ooh. Okay guys, now that layer is dry, I want to put a little bit of rust on the body, but we're not going to spend a whole bunch of time letting it rust with the glue-on metal flake that we used in the past with the hydrogen peroxide and all that fun stuff. As you know, we like to cheat it sometimes. We can use Citadel paints. They make this stuff called technical typhus corrosion, and you mix this as a base coat. It's got like a little bit of grit into it, so it gives you a really nice corroded look. And then you come back over it with this dry Rizzo rust, and this actually makes it a dark orange and just almost a perfect rust. They're very good at what they do over there, so give this a good shake. If you have the bottle open for a while, you want to close it every once in a while, give it a good shake, or what happens is you end up using all the liquid and then you end up with a paste on the bottom. So keep it active, use a little bit, shake it up. Now, I like to use a brush that's already kind of been a little bit trashed up. You can get what you need just off the top. I'm going to load her up right there, good enough. So I'm going to go my bottom plates here. Those guys get rusted out. I'm going to do up the edge. I'm just going to kind of dab the brush. I don't want like a smooth brush stroke. I'll come off the edge of the box here a little bit like that. Some in there. Oh, that was a little bit much, but whatever. We'll go a little bit down here. And a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit in there. We'll let that dry. Touch it up where I touch it on my hand. As you can see, it's already starting to kind of turn orangey brown as it dries. I don't know if you can see the grit in there, but you'll see that definitely when it's out on the trail. So, okay, let that dry. Make sure this stuff's sealed up good. And I'm gonna grab a new brush. Okay, so now that we got the corrosion dry, we're gonna grab our Citadel Colors Dry Rizzo Rust. This is a fluorescent orange, kind of a paste. It's a heavy, kind of goopy paste. You'll notice it's really thick. It's like a hard body acrylic, if you would, or whatever. So you want to just go in and just brush it in. Keep it on the corrosion, of course. Give everything a little bit of coating till the bright goes away and starts to turn dull. And the rest will just happen on its own. So apply like that, very simple. And just for the sake is it's 3 o'clock in the morning and we gotta get this done. I'm gonna put this back together tomorrow. Basically, guys, go through, brush that on, let that dry. Go throw this back in the booth, put another coat of flat clear on it, and you'll end up with a very good looking body like that. We got a little bit of work to do the interior, clean up, sand the opening on the windows a bit, stuff like that. But otherwise, looking great. We got some nice rust on there. You can see the rust there on the bottom edge. The door handle's going to sit on there. We got rust behind it. We got rust on the hinges. We got a big mess on the hood. We got Pennywise face on the hood. We got Pennywise over here. I think it looks fantastic. We get a little bit of touch up to do with the flat clear. Some of it peeled up right there and right back here, but we also have that in acrylic from Tamiya, so we can just put some on a paintbrush, go in there, touch it up. Anyhow, guys, stay tuned. We also took off, we masked out where the wipers would travel, so we took that off and we got the nice clear spots in the front, and everything else is dirty and dusty and kind of mucky looking, so it looks fantastic. Okay, guys, so up next we're going to grab this Phoenix VS410 light kit, the Series 2 for the Series 2 body. We're going to throw that in, and then we're going to get this guy out on the trail. Stay tuned for that. We don't have the front inner fenders for it, so we can't fully install it. We're going to have to make brackets to hold the front of the body up until ours show up. We had to order those off of A-Main as Eliminator was out of stock on them. So we won't be putting the rock lights in. We're just going to do the headlights and the taillights on this. But anyhow, stay tuned. Next couple seconds, we'll get that installed, and we'll see you guys on the trail later on the video. Okay, guys, let's check out this light kit so we can get this tossed in really quick. This is the Incision VS410 Phoenix Series 2 light kit. Series 2 is actually just for this body. Series 1 is for their old style body, the original Origin body. So inside the contents, you get a connector to go to the 3S ready. That's why it says on the front 3S ready right here. This will hook up to the bounce lead, your 3S connector, and this will power your system. I don't like to leech power off of the bounce port, but I've only ever done it before on a 3S battery, and I've taken 2S power from it, so it should be okay taking 3S power from it. I'll keep you guys posted how that goes. So at the front, we get these two really nice magnifying LED headlights with these cooling fins on the back. And looking at a few of the comments on our first video, a lot of our subscribers say that these are really bright, in fact, so we're pretty excited for that. We can't install the front. We're going to have to leave these unclipped as an option, which is nice. We can just unplug the rock lights right here for now. And once we get those front fenders in, we'll put the rock lights in. It's pretty nice. They come on a board, pre-mounted up. You just break the board in half when you're ready, and then put them in. So it's 2 lights, 1 board. You just pop it in half. Easy cheesy. Boom, done. Put them in. And then yeah, you get your little control board here with the power switch. 1, 2, 3 position switch. And you can also hook it up to a spare channel on your receiver, which we are completely out of on this truck right now. And you can turn them off and on from there. And your power plug coming in. So super simple. You get rear tail lights way over here. We're going to run those in nice and clean right now. We're going to start with the rear tail lights. We're going to put the front in. We've already got the body put together. So you know what, guys? We'll see you out in the trail in a few seconds.